how is that line drawn and why is that line drawn and who can access the other side of that line? Right now, that line is drawn based on purchasing power. And I think that is problematic from, both in terms of like, are we letting people, or does that mean that people without purchasing power can't access these communities? As well as just for the communities themselves, right? Like the people who have the highest purchasing power might actually not be the best community members. If you think about the like amount of engagement that these, or like the creativity it takes for people within these communities to like take initiative and say like, hey, I have this new idea, I have this new idea that can drive value to the community at large. That actually has nothing to do with how much money that person has. And it has everything to do with like their skills, their experiences, their background. And therefore, when we draw lines of who gets to access the community based on purchasing power, you're actually like, you're not actually like letting in the right people necessarily. Like those conditions are not necessarily the right conditions for a very healthy, very active, very dynamic community. And I think that's an evolution that we'll likely see and have to see. And NFT communities will be incentivized to solve that problem because you're always incentivized to like, how do we attract talent? How do we attract the best designers? How do we attract the best community managers? And so necessarily, I think people will shift from like, okay, who can afford this to like, oh, how can we let the best people earn a spot in this community? And how do we let them access this community? And I think that'll be a shift that we'll just naturally see. But we should, I think there is at this moment in a time, a problem with diversity and inclusivity.
Yeah, you totally make good points around how community is formed and how the money can be the barrier to entry, where it should be in certain cases the contributions and reputation you have within that community. You're listening to the Unstoppable Podcast, the go-to place for everyone to learn about the latest innovations in Web3, NFTs, and the decentralized web. Welcome to the metaverse.